Hello Earthlings and Happy New Year, or well, Happy February? I was supposed to release this video last month, but better late than never. You may remember our birth month gemstone fairy project from last year. I released all of the fairies as speed paints, turned each fairy into a super shiny sticker, and made them all into a calendar. It was super cool. But this video is about the inspirations behind each fairy character design. We've talked about our inspirations for July, August, and September, but not for January through June and October through December. I want to go ahead and make a video that talks about those other gemstones. So you guessed it, we're starting back in January. January's stone is garnet. Garnet was a stone associated with the sun and the Egyptian god of the sun Ra. So I took her out of sun inspiration. Her flower is a red dwarf sunflower, which is kind of like a pun on the sun, though Earth's own sun is a yellow dwarf, not red. And her familiar is a phoenix to represent rebirth. I was inspired by Tezuka's Phoenix manga that inspired me hugely as a kid. I also gave her sunglasses, but not like these kind of sunglasses. I ended up doing a design based on the first sunglasses invented by the Inuit people in prehistoric times. They were walrus ivory with slits in them, which would block out a lot of the ice that was bouncing off the ice. I wanted a warrior figure that represented rebirth and life. She invites you to fight for a life well spent. February's gemstone is amethyst. She is a mischievous fairy drawing power from the shadows. Shadows give welcome shade on a hot day, but spooky shapes at the dark night. Fairy probably has the best looking mood board out of all of them. I really got inspired with this one. I decided on lupine flowers due to the perfect shade, and then went for a fox creature familiar, the kitsune. Following suit with a Japanese inspiration, I channeled early 20s Eats Meets West fashion. March's gemstone is aquamarine, so naturally she's a water fairy. Water is beautiful, it gives life to most of our planet. Without it, nothing would exist. But it's also a strong force that could wipe us all out at any moment, as dramatic as that sounds. So this fairy is a strong warrior with a soft and compassionate side. Her familiar is a baby sea serpent. I chose a water plant, the Egyptian blue lotus, for her flower, and designed her armor and wings after a dragonfly. This is because dragonflies are the best hunters on the planet, with a 95% prey catch rate. That's really high. If you have time, go watch some videos about them, they're super cool. April's gemstone is diamond. Associated with purity, I imagine snow. Winter comes and cleanses the earth for the next flowers of spring to bloom, so naturally I chose a snow blooming flower. The snowdrop, or snowbell as it's sometimes called. April's familiar is a little herd of unicorn foals, each with a little tinkling snow bell around their necks. This fairy's design was inspired by several characters: Disney's Aurora, The Last Unicorn's Malvia, and an all-time favorite of mine, Flamp's Clover. I wanted her to have a dreamy, princessy vibe that hides a hidden strength. May's birthstone is emerald. This fairy draws power from the wind, hence her familiar, the quetzalcoatl. I like the idea that she is friends with the changing seasons. Wind carries seeds to the new homes in summers and makes leaves fall in autumn. For her visual look, I wanted her to look both elegant and relaxed. I decided that Art Deco era fashion and art style suited this vibe with draped sleeves and goddessy vibes. Specifically, I referenced art by Urte here. At first I was going to choose a snakeball flower, but at the last moment switched to a lily since it suited the illustration more. June's birthstone is pearl, or alexandrite based on which chart you follow. Pearls typically bring to mind an old-fashioned elegance, maybe even something a bit outdated. However, I have seen a lot of newer designers, like July Child, who I've used reference photos from here, using freshwater pearls as hip and stylish chaotic pieces. I wanted to show the contrast between those two things, which led me to thoughts of characters like Nana and Hachi, or Princess Tutu and Princess Craigie. And finally to the idea of the good and the bad twin. Now, my creator is a twin and always hated this assumption, so she decided to mix it up by giving both twins a balanced and trendy style. These pearl fairies draw their power from balance. Day and night both need each other for the world to have order, after all. Though a little slash of chaos makes things fun. I chose anemone flowers, which are perfect color palette with connection to the ocean via the symbol of Venus. One fun fact about pearls: they are super fascinating. Pearls are made by bivalves like oysters as a natural defense against an irritant such as like a parasite entering their shell or damaging their fragile body. When pearls are half-formed, they make this trippy design in their rainbow inner shell. I decided to replicate that on the wings of the fairies here. Alright, July fairy was Ruby. You can watch the video and explanation of her here. August, we also completed. This one was super interesting, so please watch this one. At least this one, August, is paired on. And September is also complete, and Sapphire is September's birthstone. This is one of the weirder ones that I did, but with a really personal message mirroring January's Garnet theme. It's linked right here. For October, my creator's birthstone, Opal. This was the first fairy we completed, actually, and this one, the inspiration started in the gem shop. There were these little pink quartz dragon heads, and I thought, what if little baby gemstone dragons hatched from geodes? Better yet, what if it was opal themed for my birthday? Coolest thing about opals is that you can have opalized fossils, you know, things like bones or ammonites, like you can see here on this fairy. I also used orchids because if you've ever seen one up close, they're super sparkly and rainbowy, just like an opal. It doesn't really show in most photos that people take of orchids, you just have to see one in real life. They're really cool. On to November. November's birthstone is citrine, or topaz on some charts. Citrine, a subset of quartz, looks golden and glowy as it allows much light to pass through it. So this fairy's powers are of light. She glows with the soft light of stars and fireflies. For this one, I had a strong idea in mind, and so I didn't do an intense mood board. I knew I wanted a golden pegasus and an angel vibe. The geode wings are some of my favorite parts of this. I also really like her sparkle highlighter, and daffodil is such an angelic looking flower and was the perfect fit. For December's birthstone is turquoise, or tanzanite depending on the chart. I chose turquoise. The fairy draws power from the earth. She's sweet and serene, but knows when to stand up for what she believes in. And by golly, is she standing. Or flying. She seems to be the only fairy that I drew standing up, coincidentally. And she's supposed to have almost like a globe or earth theme, which is why she has all these like globe decorations on her. I wanted a definite Art Nouveau vibe for her, directly referencing Lucha's artwork here. I wanted her dress to look like ruffling petals of hibiscus, with hummingbirds to match. For an earth theme piece, I had to do a matching flora fauna from the same ecosystem. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching my 12 fairy inspirations. This project was one that I wanted to do since 2019, I think. Maybe even before that. And so I was really happy to actually just get my idea out there and on the page. Alright, let me know which fairy was your favorite. Alright, bye-bye!